Hello there everyone, interesting video today on the division of rental income between husband and a wife. So let's have a look at the facts in this particular case. We've got a husband and a wife. They bought a property, not a buy-to-let property, a property to live in, 2013, okay? So next in the timeline, husband went to work overseas a year or two later. And basically, he gave a power of attorney to the wife over that property, meaning that she could do with it what she wanted. If she wanted to sell it, so be it. He basically granted her that power of attorney before he pushed off to work abroad. And then whilst he was abroad, the marriage broke down. And he made no provision for her whatsoever. And she had this property. And she said, look, I need to make ends meet. I'm going to rent this thing out. So she rented the property out to independent third parties, not connected, just rented it out. And the money that she received, it came into her bank account. Into her separate bank account. It wasn't a joint bank account for him and her. And she thought nothing of it until HMRC got in touch with her a few years later. And they said, look, we know you've got this property, it's been let out, you know, you need to come clean and pay your taxes. And so she said, oh, hang on a minute, that money, basically, it was my husband and I, we own that property, you need to tax him 50% of that rental profit, thank you very much. And they said, no, we don't. And this thing went to tribunal. So what did they say at the tribunal? So basically, the tribunal said the general rule that if you are a husband and wife and you own a property together as what they call joint ownership, then the default position is that you are taxed on the rental profits 50-50. Now, I've done separate videos on this to say that if you don't want it to be 50-50, you can't just sort of unilaterally say, oh, we'll make it 70-30 or whatever, split it on your tax return however you want. You have to actually transfer the ownership of the asset to reflect the income sharing split that you want. So if you want it to be 70%, 30%, 70 you, 30% the wife, in theory, she'd have to dispose of 20% of her share, and you acquire that 20% to go from 50 to 70. Now, that shouldn't really be a problem if she's cool with it. From a tax point of view, shouldn't be a problem because there's no capital gains tax between spouses. But you have to go through that before you can split the income side of things on the tax returns. Now, the rule, though, says that 50-50 deemed split for husband and wife owning property jointly does not apply to spouses who are no longer living together. So in this case, the husband and wife were estranged. They weren't living together. All right? All the monies went to her. And she said, look, I'm using that, even though it comes to my sole bank account, I'm using it to pay debts that were incurred jointly. He's benefiting from this. The fact that I'm paying down some debts on the money that I'm receiving, so he's going to, benefit from that. The court said, look, they were sympathetic to the woman's plight, the fact that she was left pretty destitute by the ex, and now she's being taxed for half of she's being taxed for the whole lot of the profits on the property, when she's like, well, he should have half. When the court said, well, no, because that's the rule. All right, that is the rule. When it's spouses not living together, that deemed 50-50 does not apply, and she was in receipt of all those funds. So unfortunately for her, the tribunal sided with HMRC and said that she had to pay tax on the lot, not that half should be attributed to him. So an interesting case there on the taxation of rental profits, particularly highlighting this point, which I think not many people are aware of, that deemed 50-50 taxation of joint property does not hold when the spouses no longer live together. So if you like this video, do please subscribe. As always, I'll see you soon.